What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the blue color, playing as Hades. His name is Domantas. His opponent today, in the red color, playing as Zeus. His name is Eric. The map is Mirage. This is game number 2 of the best of 7 series for the Challengers League finals. First game going to Eric with a decisive Athena rush against Domantas' Ra there. We'll see if things change up in game number 2 or whatever's going to happen here. We'll see how it goes. But Eric's sticking with the Zeus, and Domantas decides to go in with his Hades here. A very, very different map, a very, very different matchup, and a very, very, very different style we're going to see here most likely from Domantas. As Domantas is already started up with that early storehouse, he's going to be having a little bit more wood than Eric does here. So he's going to be able to get himself out those fishing ships that little bit faster. But Eric is going to have a safer, more stable amount of villagers building here. If we take a look at the villager count, you're basically, I don't think that Domantas is going to struggle here. This is why Domantas' build is slightly more efficient than Eric's here on this game, on this map. But you can see the difference here is going to be in fishing ships, and the food differential here is quite a big difference for Eric. So Eric is playing it safer, ensuring he's going to be able to get everything out nice and fast. Domantas is playing a little bit more risky, but because he knows there's a boar, he knows there's the cows, he knows he's going to be fine here. He says it's totally fine to do it this way. So Eric gets his house up. Both players 3 fishing ships. No housing problems here. The boar gets finished up, and Domantas here, he's going to have to start thinking about where he wants to go next. So Mirage in the Greek War, I kind of see this in 2 ways. There's 2 ways to play this. So there's the aggressive variant in the Greek mirror, which I think is really, really strong on this map. Basically, you advance quite quickly. You don't fish up the entirety of your water straight away. You just get yourself 4 fishing ships in the archaic age, and then you advance at 4 minutes and 2 seconds. That is the hyper aggressive Zeus variant that I think was really, really strong here. After that, you can finish fishing up. You can get however many fish you want after that. Put a whole bunch of villagers onto wood, get all the fish out. You end up with 9 fishing ships in the classical age anyway, but you advance much, much faster, and you can start your stable, get your Jason, get your Odysseus, get your Minotaur out nice and fast, and you can be across the other side of the map having a really, really good time. That's variant number 1. That's going to be able to put a lot of pressure onto your opponent. Variant number 2 is the more conservative approach, which we're actually seeing both players go for. And effectively, it should be a 4:30 advance time. Both players should be going for a standard Mediterranean build here. If you take a look over here, we see 6 villagers on wood for Domantas. This is not what I would call 100% standard here for Domantas. He's going to go for what looks... I mean, he might be able to advance at 4:30. We've already seen Athena up here from Eric. So Eric's actually done a 4:16 advance, which I quite like. He's actually gone 7 villagers or 7 fishing ships, and he's going to get the final 2 out afterwards. I quite like this, and Eric's going to be very, very aggressive here. He's gone through Athena as well. Every villager onto wood at this moment as well. So whether this is just a fast second town center or if he's going to put the pressure on straight away, we'll have to wait and see. But he has done that at fast advance, and it looks like Domantas is a solid 30 seconds behind Eric here. So he's gone for a 4:45-ish advance time. All the villagers onto gold, so he's definitely looking for that fast second town center. Domantas at this point has not forgotten the favor. He's got the villager on the temple, so no problems there. Both players 9 fishing ships. Hand axe coming through for Eric as well. He hasn't sent any villagers forward here, as his Jason is going to pop out. His hand axe is going to come through. Is he going to throw buildings down is the big question. He gets his Odysseus out, his Jason out. Going to move across the map. Relics on the map. We do have the head of Orpheus, an extra 8 line of sight there for your buildings. And the Tusk of the Iron Boar is actually here as well, which is an extra 10% hit points for your cavalry, which ends up being a really, really big deal. Hand axe and pickaxe actually coming through for Domantas as well. So both players getting their economic upgrades here. Domantas advancing 2 villages later here. You can see he's at 19 versus Eric's 17. Does mean he's going to have a significant amount more resources than Eric does here in this game, as Eric rushes out the purse scene as well, which will allow him to catch up. He's gone double docks here as well, playing it a little bit safe. They're playing around any sort of side dock shenanigans. As the Minotaur Jason moving forward, looking around for wherever the town center is. As Domantas at this point says, Military Academy archery range here is his first port of call. And Eric here, he still hasn't thrown anything up. So I'm still not sure exactly what he's going for. To me, if he is going for a second town center, I would have preferred to see Perseine come after the second town center, especially with these baboons over here. This is a decent town center. Or if he moved forward and grabbed this one, it's not a bad idea either, as the unit's pushing forward here and Domantas is starting that production. So Eric here, he's actually going to be a little bit happy. He's going to be a little bit happy because he will be getting the town center up first. He's going to see those military buildings. He's going to go for the town center. The villagers coming over. The question is, does he go for the forward one or the side one? Knowing that the army is out, Eric might be in for a really, really difficult time if he does decide to go for this town center, because I imagine Domantas here, he's probably going to spot it with that Katoskopos. And if he doesn't spot it with the Katoskopos, he should be looking to just move forward here with the army. And that's exactly what we're going to see here as well. As the town center coming up, the Katoskopos does notice this, as the Odysseus Jason causing a little bit of problems here in this position. Eric's also got the resources to drop a third town center here as well. As Eric decides to pull back, he's in a very, very difficult position. Had he grabbed this back town center, that would have been completely fine. And it would have taken too long for Domantas to get across the map to deny that one. But Eric here, he pulls back and he has to think about his next port of call. And it's going to be archery range, stable. He's got a lot of work to do now to catch up to the population that Domantas has. A lot of work. But he does have the army composition advantage. I do believe that in terms of the best composition you can possibly do in the Classical Age, in the Classical Age war in Greek Mirror, is 1 part Hippocon, 2 parts Toxotes. As we do see the medium cavalry, the medium archers coming through, villagers getting pushed off of this hunt as well. Nice play from Domantas. At this point, Domantas needs to think about town center. He's got all the population. He's got all the advantage. He can just grab the middle 2 town centers and have a very, very strong position in this game. Also, do we see that relic got picked up? It looks like yeah, he did pick up that relic. So Domantas has also got the Tusk of the Iron Boar, which is going to help him out quite a bit, as another stable going to be coming through here for Eric. And the Toxotes and the Hippocon are going to be coming in relatively quickly here. Now, the thing is, Eric sent 6 villagers forward to the town center. He didn't build the town center, so the resources come back. But the thing is, he lost a lot of resources walking forward there. So, after all is said and done, you have to expect that Domantas, he just has more resources than Eric does at this point in the game. As Eric here, under a lot of pressure from Domantas. Domantas is going to be pulling back here, trying to figure out where to go next here in this game. Just spamming units out, starting to get his upgrades as well. Population differential, still about 20 population here advantage for Domantas. But, I mean, Eric has still got a lot of time here to just sit back and defend. He can kind of space his Toxotes out if he wants to. He does take a little bit of damage onto the Jason, but if he can just space the Toxotes out, pick off some of those forward units here. There is also a bolt available for Eric if he wants to use that on the Chiron or something. Wouldn't be a bad idea. As Domantas getting closer and closer to full population. I'm surprised to see Domantas not going for that second town center here. It's a fairly huge advantage to just pick it up and just give away that population advantage, but you get the town center and then you win on economy there. As the army swings around, the villagers have to get pulled off of the wood line there. Nice movement there from Domantas, recognizing that wood line is a bit of a weakness. And Eric has to move all the way over to the other side of his base to continue that economy. As we do see the Hippocon searching around for raids now, as Eric's got the movement speed advantage here, but he does see a bunch of population on this position. So technically speaking, he could start thinking about taking this fight. He does manage to take out 1 Minotaur as the temple getting taken down. We do see the villagers coming through to start trying to repair that one up, as Domantas has to back up. The Hippocon still distracting on this position. The Toxotes is going to be making their way forward to join the army here. As the Hippocon searching around for everything they need to find. The town center going to be coming up on this position as well here for Eric, as he does manage to get that one up first in this matchup. A bit surprising. I do think that Domantas, if he goes heroic age here, basically there's nothing that Eric can do to stop a gold starve. But Domantas, he needs to be keeping his eyes onto the gold. He's getting himself a second town center. We do see the Hippocon going to be almost checking that one out. As the hoplites coming through there, the unit's still playing Ring Around the Rosie or Catch Me If You Can. But yeah, if Domantas went heroic age here instead of this town center, he would have had full access to Aphrodite here right now. Curse, the villagers finishing up on this gold mine, and this game would be a very, very difficult position for Eric to hold on here as the town center continues to come up here. We see Aphrodite is coming through. Copper Shield's also coming through. That's going to be a huge help in this fight as the army of Eric pushing in. As Eric gets his town center up first, he's got the population advantage here by 15 at this point because he has that town center, and he's got that Minotaur coming in onto this fight here. As the Minotaur does end up getting sniped down by the Chiron here. Eric tries to pull that one back, but he doesn't target down the Chiron at all. As the Ajax gets taken down, the town center here continuing to come up as Domantas here is going to be... I mean, he gets himself that Copper Shield for the end of the fight, and Eric does decide there to pull back for the time being here. And now Domantas, he's defended. He's got plenty of population. He's got plenty of resources. And Eric has to start thinking about how he's going to defend this gold mine moving forward. Eric's not close to that second age. He does have a villager lead, though. But he needs to take his time in this game, as we do see that Chiron getting sniped down on the front there by the spray of arrows. Domantas not paying attention here. Does decide to turn around on that position. So much DPS there for Eric at the start of that fight. But Aphrodite coming in. The Curse going to be able to push Eric back here beautifully as Domantas makes the misstep, but he manages to make up for it with the timing going to the heroic age. And Eric pulls back into his main base. Domantas is going to have to rejig his army and get over onto this position. We do see villagers or shades checking out on the gold mines all over on the map. There's gold mines spread out across the front. But Domantas here, he spotted the stable. He spotted the villagers getting gold. And now Eric, he has to take a fight, and he just does not have the population here. He's trying to make nothing but Toxotes, it seems, as the Hippocon's starting up. Eric wants to go to the next age, but he just cannot manage to get that one up here. The villagers have snuck this gold mine down here as well, as the Toxotes come in, sniping a couple of units, but now the Nemean Lion coming in, that's going to immediately get bolted there, as Eric has held on to his bolt nicely, getting some value out of the bolt, picking off a heroic age unit. Normally, you use that one on the classical age unit to build momentum, but because there was no momentum to be built here from Eric's strategy, he manages to get some value out of a heroic age unit there. As Domantas pulls back in, we are seeing a handful of units now pushing in onto the final gold mine of Eric. Eric turning around, trying to shank this, but those Toxotes do so much damage. The units over here, Hades Shades coming in to tank so much DPS here from those Toxotes, and heavy Toxotes comes through here for Domantas, as he is going to be able to easily start winning these fights. The other thing is, still Copper Shields is in for Domantas, so not only does Domantas have the bonus damage, he also has the bonus armor here from having himself those upgrades, and the HP from having heavy Toxotes, so there's no way that Eric can hold on here, and Domantas finds the win after all is said and done, leveling the series 1-1. Eric a little bit out of sorts here. This strategy kind of didn't make any sense in a way. What I mean by this is he went for a fast advance. He went for a early burst scene into a town center. Had Eric said, okay, I want the forward town center. If that was the strategy, he's like, okay, that's what I'm going for. I'm going for the forward town center. 416 advance, perfect. 2 docks, unnecessary. Could throw that dock down later in order to pick up that efficiency. Don't need that dock. Go up 416, get the Jason, get the Odysseus, get the town center, then get the purse scene. Then get the next dock. That was the ordering in order to get this forward town center against any sort of delayed advance classical fight from the Domantas Hades here. But because that dock came up here, because that purse scene came in, the town center just came out so late, and Domantas was easily going to be able to stop that one with the lack of units that Eric had out. And from then, it was a battle to try and figure out how to get back into the game. And unfortunately for Eric, he just could not make up for that economic difference here. If you take a look at the timeline, it's not going to be exactly accurate. You can see at about this point, that big leap in resources is fake because he deleted the town center. And basically the resources come back in. So on the graph, it doesn't quite work out, but on the in practicality, he lost 700 resources there. So he would have been at about 5,000 resources up to, so you basically have to take off 700 for this entirety of this graph. So for this entirety of the graph, they're basically equal, which basically means that Domantas is in front 700 resources for the entirety of that fight. And in the Greek mirror, especially against Hades, that is an insurmountable amount of resources to have to make up. And Domantas played it really nicely following all of that. If you guys enjoyed it, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.